Then in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can make your own chatbots in the style of the OpenAI GPTs, but you're also able to make much more powerful bots that can go through kind of complex sequences of steps to complete tasks. So for example, we've got tools on the website that can write entire books. They'll go through 50, 60 steps to turn an idea into a book. But now we've added like a chatbot feature, so you can make tools that are a combination of a chatbot and a multi-step tool. So I'll show you here with this example. So here it's like a CBT bot. So I can talk to it like you can with the normal GPTs and things like that, and it will reply. It's got custom instructions behind it that dictate how it should behave and what its goals are. And it's also got data behind it, like a knowledge base, like what you upload to the GPTs as well. And with this one, just as an example, I've added an extra little tool bit that will allow you to enter a website, and it will review the website for you. It'll summarize it, and it'll tell you what it thinks of the quality of the website. The website's about CBT. So if I type in review the website for me, what it'll do, you see it makes its way down to block 6, which you paste in the website. This is the NHS one. It was just the first one that came up when I searched for CBT. And what it'll do, review the website and take me back up. And you can see here, it's got website review. It tells me about it. It tells me they've got like an email program. It tells me about the quality of the website. It mentions it's the NHS, so it's quite a reputable source. So yeah, this is like a combination between a chatbot and a tool. So it's acted as a normal chatbot. But when I specifically type in review website, it branches off to this multi-step process where it asks for a URL, scrapes the URL, runs a very specific prompt to summarize the content of it, and then sticks that back in my chat. And that sequence, there can be different sequences like that to add features. So if you were more knowledgeable about CBT, you could put in something more useful, a sequence of steps that puts together a plan or program for people based on CBT or whatever it is that you want your tool to do. So I'm going to show you how to make a tool like this. You can free to sign up to the website. You go to all tools and then tool maker. And the main tool is of course the chat block. So you can see here we have lots of different types of text to speech. If you want to add that to your tool, HTML preview, ask user questions, send stuff to Zapier, embeddings is like knowledge. That's the stuff you can do that you can kind of combine with your chatbot basically. And this is the chat block bit. If I press this, you can see what it looks like for a user. Just like a little chatbot. Say hi and can talk to it. Cool. And then we go back into creator mode. What do you do? I'll show you the back end of the one that I've already made, the therapist bot. So on this one, before we have the chat block, we actually use a processing block. So we use processing blocks for quite a lot. And this processing block just adds the starter message on there. That's actually the first block. So it runs it once when the tool starts before you go into the chat block. We've chosen the option send extra info to the chat block, add into chat history. We just add this message, hi, I'm a CBT helper. Here's some example questions to get you started. So we do the same on this one, the letter processing block. We'll change the order, so just move the block up so it's before the chat block. There you go, and modify references. And send extra info to chat block on the screen. Go and say, hi there, I am health fitness expert or whatever we're making. Now this gets sent to the chat history. So the funny thing with the AI is it will continue the conversation now under the assumption it's a fitness expert, just literally because that first message, just going to restart it. There you go. Hi there, I'm your fitness expert. How can I help? Look, and hopefully just by seeing the chat history so far, it will just carry on kind of playing the role of a fitness expert. Oh, got a bit stuck there, but I pause it. I know about fitness and exercise. There you go. Yeah, when you're in creator mode, sometimes it gets a bit glitchy, but it won't be for the user. And then we can do, so on our CBT therapist bot after the chat block, we use another processing block, and this adds the custom instructions. So what we do this time, we've chosen option send to the chatbot, but don't add it to the chat history. So this is like hidden instructions that go to the AI. We write the word system at the start just to make it clear that it's not the human talking, that this is like an instruction. And we've written the very comprehensive instructions on how to be a CBT expert, what steps to go through with the user, some additional optional steps, so just kind of like ideas that the AI can do. And then this one we like to use, follow the steps, get the info off the user. So it doesn't try and do the whole thing in one go. It makes it a more kind of fun, interactive part. So to write these instructions, we do actually have another tool that we made a while ago, GPT Maker. So we made this, and people have been using it to make their own tools for the OpenAI store, but you can actually just use it to make tools for our site as well if you want to. So you tell it what you want, and it'll actually write the 1,000-word custom instructions for you. You can tweak that, and then it will do research as well. So it'll search 20 websites, summarize the content, which you can use for your knowledge base. It'll give you ideas for starter questions, and it will come up with like a logo and a name for your tool as well. So that could speed up the process. You can use that tool and then copy it across. So that's always there then, because it's after the chat box each time it runs, adds this as a sort of like message here. So I'll show you so you can see it. And that will kind of dictate how the AI responds to all the user messages. So yeah, to do that on this one, we just add a processing block. Choose the option. Don't add it to the chat history because there's a system there. And then you are a super motivation. And then so now oh human. Let's just finish go just call our client human, but here you go. So yeah, that'll always be there then. That dictates how it behaves. See, the more you write, the more unique it's going to be. And the next thing we have is our knowledge. So this is a type of block called an embeddings block. We add the knowledge there, and we add what we want to use as the kind of almost like the search string. And then so we're using block one output, which is the output's actually what the user typed in, just because it's seconds, so it's a bit backwards. But the chat's the input and the user message is the output. So this takes what the user's typed in, and it will, so if the user mentions reframing, then it might pull out this first chunk of text, so on and so on. So it finds the one that's most relevant. And then we just use another processing block to add that to the chat block. So extra info that may be relevant to the user's latest question, and it's whatever the knowledge block found. You can return multiple results if you want to return a lot, like if you've got a lot of small bits of knowledge. You do have to break it up, so that's where it's a bit different from the OpenAI one, but it's going to be better for the user if you do break it up into the relevant sections, so it knows. So it's just pulling out the relevant bits and adding it to the chat. So between that, the knowledge and the custom instructions in the chat, that's kind of what most of the GPTs on the GPT store are. So embeddings blocks. So yeah, the text compare. So we can have so it's block one, user output, or if we wanted to send the whole chat, so the chat history, so the chat so far would do block one input, or you do both if you want, which is where you probably want the chat history and the user's latest question, or you may want to use a processing block to chop the chat down or search for certain text. There's a few different ways you can do it, but the simplest one is just whatever the user mentioned most recently, and search against that. And we'll say babies, I don't know, spot are terrible for your needs. Just an example of something that might be different from what the AI says normally. Burpee. So there you go. So now if the user mentions burpees, that's going to pull out with the current setup, because we've only put one thing in, that's always going to be returned. But if you put in a bunch of things and the user mentions burpees, then that's the reply that we're going to get. You can kind of test it here in creator mode. So hi, send, and then burpees are terrible for your knees, don't do them. So yeah, we had other stuff in there. So we had another block that said what you want the response to hi to be, then pick up that instead. But yeah, and then the processing block to actually send that back to the chat block so the AI can see it. So modify references, send it, don't add it. We don't use it to see our knowledge base. Essentially, we just want it to AI to see it. And we'll give some instructions. System, use this in reply. Latest question. And that's going to add that to the AI's instructions. And then if it's behaving itself, it will tell the user not to do babies, just as an example. Apologies if you like babies. Yeah, that's an example of how I use the knowledge. So you add more knowledge and beef out your custom instructions. You get a nice little chatbot there. And then what we can add, if you want to go to the next bit where you start adding special kind of extra bits to your tool. We need something that's going to control the flow. So in this one, it checks if the words "view a website" for me, which is what we tell the user to ask to type in. I've chopped the R off, so it finds that whether the user uses uppercase or lowercase r. So it's just "view a website" for me. Basically, it searches for that. And if it's there, it's going to go on to the next bit, which is kind of tool mode instead of chatbot mode. And otherwise, it's going to go back to the chatbot, basically. So when we say tool mode, we just mean it follows like predefined steps instead of just channel way. So the first one is it will ask the user this question. And the way you do that, once you've added your if block, it's just a question block. Use a question. And our question is, what website do you want me to check? We've just left it as a single text field, but there's other options. You can use those paste in spreadsheets, upload text files, or multiple choice. The next block in the sequence will then is a scraper block. So again, easy enough to find. You just choose a scraper block from there. We're scraping the URL in block 6. I just type in @ and then it kind of shows you it. Block 6, so you can give the blocks names and stuff like that. We'll scrape it, remove the HTML, there's the content, and then we add prompt blocks. This is where we can talk to the AI, but outside of the chatbot. So instead of just sending it in the chatbot, kind of followed its normal instructions, which isn't what we want. We want to review the website. We've got this prompt that we've written specifically for this task. So we tell it that there's the content we've pulled from the website. Yeah, block 7 refers to the scraper block. And we give it the instructions, review the website, and there's some extra bits added to kind of get it to apply in the way that I want it to. Otherwise, it just requires saying things like, I don't know, and then you need to check the sources and stuff like that. So we did a bit of prompt engineering there to get a kind of response that we wanted. And then we use you could show this to the user, but I've opted not to. So instead, it's better to just send it back to the chat block. So again, another processing block, but this time we've said send it back to the chat block, don't send to OpenAI. So we're saying the AI doesn't need to reply now to the user's last message because we've done a website review. We've already spoken to the AI and we're going to paste the review into the chat. That's what we did. That's what happened before. So it said website review, and then there's the information on the website and stuff. So yeah, that's how we made that tool. There's obviously more useful things you could make than a website checker. But yeah, that's the kind of general idea. So we've got lots of help on how to make tools anyway in general on the website. If you want your tool maker, you can just click help. And then we're adding a specific page on how to make chatbots as well, which this video will be part of. But yeah, if you have any problems or anything like that, do let us know, please. But yeah, good luck. Once you've finished, publish it. Set your price and everything, like I mentioned before. Click publish, and then it will appear on the site. So we've got 10,000 users on the site. Any sales that you make, you get 100% of the price what you asked for. And then we pay monthly for that via PayPal on the 8th of each month. But yeah, if you have any questions, let us know. Happy engineering.